Okay, everyone, we're gonna call the city council meeting November 7th, 2023 to order at 5:33 PM. If everybody would stand, Mr. Reed will lead us in the prayer and then pledge.
Let's have a word of prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Now, Father, as we stand tonight, Father, we just ask once again, we bring our city and our citizenry before you, asking you and then thanking you for being so kind and so gracious to us. Continue to show your mercy upon us. Continue with the leadership of this community and the leadership of this city to grant us the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding that we need to continue to lead this city and this citizenry into victory. We ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Yeah, I'm turning it on. Okay. Any agenda amendments needed by the council or the administration? Okay. Guess, Lenny C. Jones School proclamation.
Whereas Valina C. Jones Colored School was established in Bay St. Louis in the late 1800s. The main building at Bookton Old Spanish Trails was designed by architect Milton B.E. Hill of Gulfport and opened in 1947. An addition with classroom, dining hall, gymnasium was added in 1953. And whereas Valina C. Jones served black families in Hancock County, providing a rich educational and historical heritage for thousands of minority families in this area. Whereas the school was named for Valina Cecilia MacArthur Jones, who was born in Bay St. Louis in 1872. She graduated from Straight College, the historical black college in New Orleans, Louisiana, in 1892 and was named principal of the Bay St. Louis School. The school operated for 80 years until 1972. And whereas the Friends of Valina C. Jones came together in 2022 to shepherd the Mississippi Landmark designation through the city of Bay St. Louis, Mississippi Department of Archives and History approval process. The Friends of Valina C. Jones is comprised mostly of former students from the school with lifelong ties to the community. Now therefore, I, Michael J. Farr, Mayor of the City of Bay St. Louis, along with the City Council, do hereby recognize the alumni and teachers at the Valina C. Jones School who have made tremendous contributions to the people of Hancock County, the state of Mississippi, and the world. Congratulations.
Excuse me, I have a cold. Good evening to the board, to the residents, audience. It's indeed a pleasure for me to stand here, being a student of Valina C. Jones, graduated in 1967, in and out. But it's in my heart, been in my heart. And the late Arthur Clementine and I decided to try to do something to get that building as a historical building and put a mark up. And so we really appreciate what you all are doing. We may be back to you. And on Tuesday, on the 14th, you probably get an invitation. We're having a program over at the Lil Theater from 6 till 8. We're asking everybody to come. We went around and took some recordings of people who went to school teachers, so that'll be, you'll play some of those extras. So thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Clarence.
Thank you.
Sure. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank you, Mayor. Next up is planning and zoning. Just an announcement, the public hearing part of planning and zoning was actually at the planning and zoning meeting. So we'll go through this. We'll still possibly take some comment, but most of the comment period was during that public hearing at planning and zoning. A is motion to follow planning and zone's recommendation and approve the sketch plat approval and variance to the zoning ordinance as submitted by CW Holdings located at 117 Leopold Street, partial 144P-0-19-062.000, approved 4-1. Anybody here representing the application? Okay, Mr. Bill?
Any questions, I'll address them, please.
Okay. I know there was some opposition. If you can just raise your hand if you spoke up or opposed at the planning and zoning meeting, if you're in the audience. Okay. Yes, okay. And, what is the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion, we approve, follow planning and zoning's recommendation, approve the sketch plat approval
Okay,
and
motion,
variance.
Mr. Noblock to follow planning and zone's recommendation and approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Hoffman. Discussion amongst the council?
The biggest thing that I see in this is that, yes, we are lowering the linear footage on the front of the lots. However, the square footage of these are so large that I think that's not a bad fit for the area. And, in other words, another, R1 lot's about 12,000 square feet. These are 33,000 square feet. So I think that just a little bit on the linear side, they got plenty of room to go back and build a very nice house in the area, in that neighborhood. That was my thoughts.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I went and talked to a bunch of neighbors. The same thing, Gary. The average square footage of a lot in that area is 25,364 square feet, which is bigger than that. And I think the biggest concern was the subdivision of property, right? We have all this density for dollar stuff, so people were really concerned about really what are we doing, right? Versus making 4 lots deep on there, the subdivision of 2 properties for 2 nicer houses, I think was some of the consensus of the neighbors. There was concern about subdivision, you know, everything's getting smaller and smaller, but these parcels are huge, over 33,000 square feet. They require 12,000 square feet. But again, majority of the neighbors on the street were, once we talked to them, they understood what they were trying to do. And still some concern. There will be only single-family homes built on their parcels of property. There are one, which means single-family. They cannot build 2 houses or duplex or apartments. So there'll be single-family homes built on each parcel of property with, you know, with adequate size. So Ms. Rosalie and Ms. Kim, I talked to them, and there was concerns. But you know, again, it's within the character neighborhood. Yes, ma'am. So it fits for what they're trying to do.
And my thing is for the same thing, they're such big parcels still, even subdivided with the 33,000 square feet, that it's well beyond what's needed square footage wise, even though it's about a 10-foot difference on road frontage, so.
And Mr. Adams, there's no further setbacks that's anticipated or needed. Say, I saw where the driveway comes, that you're meeting all the requirements for any other
Oh, yes,
setbacks. on the
there's
side.
plenty of
Okay.
depth, and there was another question about oak tree,
Mhm.
live oak. The live oaks are all the way to the front of the property. Mr. Hamilton had the house there many years back, and you could see where the pad was, so to speak, of the original house. And there may be one more smaller live oak somewhere, but none of that would be affected.
I think you just got one in the back, and most of the others are
Well, that was,
concentrated.
there's a big water oak
Yeah.
back there dead.
Okay, yeah, it's a 60, it looks like there's a live oak listed on this plat, but other than that, it looks like most are in the middle or up front, so as long as they're uninhibited by building.
No, the oak trees enhance the property
Oh,
greatly.
yeah.
Yes, okay. All right, any further discussion?
Well, I just wanted to say, I'll just repeat what the council have said, that, you know, I'm in agreement with this, especially for the, you know, square footage of the, area, you know, just have a lot of square footage, and just ditto, you know.
Oh, yeah, 33,000 feet's
Oh,
a
yeah.
big lot.
Exactly.
A lot of grass to cut.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. All right, any further discussion? If not, we'll vote to motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, passes 7-0. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
I want to
Allen.
thank the council.
Thanks, sir. B, motion to follow planning and zone's recommendation and approve the application for special exception to the zoning ordinance as submitted, with the stipulation that the building plans must be submitted to the building department prior to the lots being combined by Sylvia and Daniel Imbranoni, located at 230 and 232 Keller Street, partial 149M-2-30-023.000, approved 5-0. Anybody here to represent the application? Okay. Anybody here in objection to it? What's the pleasure of the council?
Does this gentleman have?
Yes, sir. He's representing the application.
Just wondered if you guys had any questions.
I don't. Any other council have any questions? No?
I make a motion, follow, recommendation of P and Z and approve this application.
Motion, Mr. Reed, to follow P and Z's recommendation and approve. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Seal. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just wanna specify, so I think on one of the, actually the administrative record here, just prefacing that the building permit may not be applied for or issued until the owner proves that the two parcels have been legally combined. I just wanna make sure that that's been discussed and agreed upon.
That's what we were looking for. We didn't want to combine them.
Okay.
Yes, okay. All right. Any further discussion from the council? Vote to motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
C, motion to follow planning and zone's recommendation and deny the application for the variance to the zoning ordinance as submitted by Joseph Climus, located at 251 Cary Court, partial 137R-0-44-021.000. And that denial was passed 5-0. Anybody here representing the application? Okay. Anybody here opposed to the application? I know we have some back there. All right, what's the pleasure of the council?
I'll make a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation to deny the application for a variance.
Motion by Mr. Lewis to follow P and Z's recommendation and deny. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Seal. Any further discussion amongst the council?
No, I think it was pretty well said at planning and zoning, but you have, I think there's a petition by about 40 property owners in the area that were opposed to it. I think the size of the proposed
Amended view.
house is about 85 feet, and that lot size just doesn't add up. And then the close proximity to the immediate neighbors on both sides presents many concerns along with the oak trees. So I think it's a pretty tall ask. And so, again, it's really well supported and denied by, I think, most on Cary Court, if not all on Cary Court, based on the petition.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Any other discussion?
That's it, yeah.
Vote to motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 7-0 to deny. Thank you. D, motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation to approve the application for amendment to the official zoning map as submitted by Admiral Isles located off of Sugarfield Road and Admiral Isles subdivisions, partials 134Q-0-40-102.000 and 139B-0-40-001.000, approved 5-0. Anybody here representing this application? Okay, there you are. Anybody opposed to it? What's the pleasure of the council?
Motion to follow plan and zone recommendation.
Motion, Mr. Seal, to follow P and Z's recommendation and approve. Do I have a second? I'll second it. Any further discussion from the council?
Yes. I don't think this is a good subdivision plot. You have a good map here with lots that are spaced out around 75 feet apiece. And to go in and change something that's been in place for over 10 years, when people have already built houses back there, I think is not good for the current property owners out there. And to build on 50-foot lots, we've been trying to get away from doing that. And here we are, there's plenty of R1A in Ward 6, not to add more to it. The infrastructure's down on most of these streets.
And that's the issue, was they was put down, Mr. Is here, but they was put down for 75-foot lots that was platted back when county, before annexation, before Katrina is when it happened. But I don't think the third and fourth, fifth phase was submitted to the county at that time for acceptance, maybe?
It wasn't for acceptance, but it
Yes.
was
Submitted,
approved.
approved,
You know,
yes, sir.
submitted and approved. We went ahead and
Yes. Yeah, so he kinda got lost in the shuffle through annexation, zoning map being redone, I guess, and the zoning,
and it is.
yes,
It
so,
is 75-foot lot, not 50-foot lot.
yeah, there's
So
70,
there's no.
What you're talking about is going at 5 R1A, and then you would have the right to resplit those into 50-foot lots, and that's what I'm not against. That's not a good split for City of Bay St. Louis at this point. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
well, can they re-subdivide?
Then why
or
come
subdivide
and do
the lot?
that?
That's what they suggested, but at the next point, you're approving the subdivision plat as it is, a 75-foot lot.
Yeah,
Yes,
because there was, what is this, I'm trying to remember, what was this now?
it's R1, which is
R1.
100 foot,
Yeah,
but all the water taps and meter taps
and everything is for
was
75.
set for 75-foot lots when the subdivision was developed. When did you develop it, '01?
It started in '01, but, you know, it took process, took years.
Yes, yeah, so, I've had a few calls and texts from neighbors, with the 75-foot lots, 1,500 square foot minimum home, I think, on those lots was the regulations. They was good with it, people that live adjacent off of Lagan Street back there and stuff, adjacent to it through the water was all okay with it.
So we're here to approve this map?
First, we here to redo it to R1.
Change the zoning to
zoning,
R1A.
And then the next thing up is to approve the map.
So I do see most of them are I do see a couple that are under 75 feet there on the lot width. So going, and I share some same concerns as Councilman Nalbuck. I mean, going to R1A goes to 50-foot lot width, 5,000 square feet. There potentially you could subdivide into those parameters. But it does look like, based on this map, there are some under that 75 feet. So what would prevent that? I mean, this would be the first subdivision, right? So we've
Well,
discussed in the
it's a
past.
subdivision, so they can't come in and redivide them.
And
Once this is
re-subdivide again,
platted,
so
and
once
they
it's
can't go
one-
in and
yeah.
alter a
And why
subdivision.
change the zoning at all? I don't, that's the
I'm
whole
trying to,
point.
Gary, we talked about this, and it's been, oh gosh, what, 2 months ago, probably, or
Mhm.
more, and I'm trying to remember, we looked through all the plating and zoning, and there was something that with R1A, it was one, not having to ask for all the different variances, and it was two, because it just made more sense, because it was just this piece of property. And if I'm remembering, I don't have the zoning map in front of me, but half of this property, I think, or everything that touched it was already R1A. Do you
Yes.
remember that?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
it just made more sense. It seemed like it should have been, and it was, there's no doubt in my mind, it was a mistake when it was made, because it was platted to meet those standards. And there was some caveat with R1A that gave it a further protection. I just can't remember.
1A would
what it
allow
was.
the 50-foot lots.
Mhm.
That's correct.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
they're-
but then
they-
coming
they're-
in and doing
they're
the
saying with
subdivision-
75-foot on the next one that we're asking to have approved.
Yeah, it prevented
To
that from
stop that
happening,
from
because it's going and you're platting a 75-foot lot, so he's self-restricting, and you can't, without going to Chancery Court, abandoning that plat and then bringing it back to you, you wouldn't be able to alter.
okay, so somebody can't buy 275s and try to make 350s out of it?
No,
Okay,
No,
and I think
that
that's
would
Mr.
alter the
Noak's
Yeah, that's my
concern.
concern.
Right.
Is
no.
buy
that-
two
that
and make
cannot
three.
happen.
Okay, that's the concern, I
And they
think.
have the infrastructure already in place for 75.
Yes, mhm, yeah, yes, sir.
No,
So-
that, what
I think
you
you
just
have taps
mentioned
and
though about
everything,
buying
but
two
you have,
lots,
they have
three
everything.
lots,
Yeah, I know. I've
already.
been there for years.
Yeah, I think that was concerned if it was 50
Right.
foot was allowed by right, that
No.
somebody might try to do that, so.
No.
But like I say, they got their own regulations in the neighborhood too,
Yeah.
above and beyond what the city ordinances are.
So do they meet?
Yes.
I mean, if they don't meet once a
They
year.
probably do, 'cause they probably own the majority of all the property still. They're probably the
We
largest.
have a yearly POA meeting,
Okay.
Yeah. They're the largest.
and we collect
property owner.
dues, and, you know, it's a legit. And something that you had said, all the lots that we had previously sold in phase one, they were 75-foot lots.
Correct.
too. They wasn't 100-foot.
Yeah.
So we're not hurting them by changing, going small.
Yes, sir.
No, we're not going small.
No,
We're going,
Original.
Going the same.
Original.
Yeah.
Same.
Original.
We're going with what's already in there.
Yes.
Or 1A does allow
Front
to
part.
go smaller.
Yes.
okay.
Because we could've went 50 back then, but we didn't wanna be
Mhm.
small. We wanted to be nicer than all of that.
Yes,
Putting
sir.
concrete streets.
Oh, they're nice. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir. Okay. Any further discussion? Vote to motion?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. E, motion to follow plan and zone's recommendation and approve the application for the sketch plat approval as submitted by Admiral Isles LLC located off of Sugarfield Road, parcels 134Q-0-10.2.000 and 139B-0-40-001.000, approved 5-0. Motion, Mr. Seal. Do I have a second? I'll second. Any further discussion on that? Vote to motion?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mr. Allison.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. F is motion to follow planning and zone's recommendation and approve the application for variance to the zoning ordinance as submitted by Chad Nunez located at 2002 North Beach Boulevard, partial 144E-0-18-002.000. Approved, 4-0. Mr. LeBlanc recused himself. Anybody here representing the application?
Mr.
Okay,
LeBlanc.
Mr. LeBlanc. I wasn't looking up, sorry, I was reading. All right.
I lost.
Yeah. Anybody in opposition to the application? I think there was a letter of support also.
Yeah, Mr. Bob Livingston, next door
On the
neighbor, wrote a
front.
letter of support.
Yes.
This property was prior to Katrina. Mr. Trippley would start to build a house there, and Mr. Livingston said he'd like his Stonehenge to go away and be a house.
Yep, so, all right, what's the pleasure of the council?
Motion to follow plan and zone recommendation.
Motion, Mr. Seal, to follow P and Z's recommendation and approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Hoffman. Any further discussion? Vote to motion?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hope that was painless for you. G, motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the application for the variance to the zoning ordinance as submitted by Ashton Myers located at 10037 Louisiana Street, parcel number 139A-40-40-036.000, approved 5-0. He's here to represent the application. All right, anybody in opposition? What's the pleasure of the council? Motion by Mr. Seal to follow P and Z's recommendation and approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Noblock. Any discussion? Vote to motion?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 7-0. Thank you, appreciate it. H, motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and deny the application for the variance to the zoning ordinance as submitted by Douglas and Susan Williams located at 425 Demottlin Avenue, parcel 149E-0-29-188.000. The denial was approved 4-1. Anybody here representing the application? Okay.
Doug Williams, 425 Mount Luzon.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right. Anybody here opposed to the application? All right, what's the pleasure of the council?
Josh, I rode by this and I spoke with Mr. Williams last week a little bit. I think there's an existing fence there already, I believe a chain link fence, is that correct?
Chain link fence was out, but there is an existing on the bordering property, an 8-foot fence.
And so I think realistically, it's more of a trying to prevent a bad situation from happening in the future with neighbors behind, so, you know, I know the recommendation letter said there was no hardship necessarily, but I think there is probably more of a hardship or a need in this case than in some other ones that have happened, but
I agree.
just
And this would only be in the back also. It's not
Yes, sir.
on the
And I
sides
looked,
or-
I was sitting out by your place today looking in the backyard, and there is some clutter behind you and the neighbors, and some of it looks like it might extend higher than 6 foot, to be honest with you. I mean, I seen,
Old house.
yeah, you know, so,
And if I may, I also approached every bordering neighbor, spoke with them. 3 of them came on their own. I didn't even ask them at the meeting.
yes, sir.
And I have the highest respect for you and the planning board. I just
Yes, sir.
feel this, because we're gonna be spending a lot of time in this yard. We're planning on putting a pool in. And, you know, I get along with all my neighbors. I don't
Yes,
wanna
sir.
cause problems for the people there, you know.
Yes, sir. No, I could definitely see a need.
But wouldn't the better solution of going to the root cause instead of just trying to hide it is to deal with from a code enforcement standpoint and deal with that? And I know it's a slippery slope on what you can and
Well,
can't have.
behind the house, directly behind the house is not, it's not code enforcement.
No, it's just clutter.
It's just clutter, right?
Or
It's,
is
so
it
it's
cause
not,
a nuisance to,
it's-
is it aesthetic or does it cause a nuisance
aesthetic.
in terms of having vermin?
it's almost aesthetic, right? So it's, yeah, I agree, right? But it's really, I had pictures, but I left my phone in my truck, but it's really,
I have pictures here if you'd like
yeah,
to see them.
you know, it's, I don't know, it's one man's
like
treasure, another man, you know, one man's trash, another man's treasure, but it's, I thought the same thing about property cleanup, nuisance, menace to public health and safety.
The grass is cut, it's just a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just feel like every time
there
we've
are some
encountered,
cars over there.
and every time we've encountered the 8 foot, there always seems to be, it's an issue with that neighbor that they don't
Just
wanna
gotta
see it.
clean it up.
So, I mean, what makes
Right.
this instance
Yeah.
more important than the other that we've
There's
found
an
in the past?
older house there as well, a little blue house, and it's, does somebody live in it?
Bunch of cats.
The blue house? Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, I didn't know if it was still habitable or
Yeah,
not.
there's a bunch of cats living in there, but there's no, there hasn't been anybody living in there since I've been in the neighborhood,
Okay,
which is 2016.
okay, yeah, I was about a day up, some 2 vehicles, whatever, nobody was coming to
Yeah,
the door,
yeah.
so I went and
Yeah.
took
Yeah,
some
there's like
pictures.
3 vehicles, 3
Yeah.
trailers, none registered, but I don't wanna
Mhm.
cause a hardship for them. I mean, whatever, I just,
Yeah, yeah. Yes, yeah.
Kinda understand what you're saying.
Looks like you know a good fence.
Seeing some, but I think the 6 foot would still work on this. And, I don't like the 8 foot fences. I see a couple of them around in Bay St. Louis, and it just looks like, you know.
again, there is an 8-foot fence there that it would match to.
Right, and I don't want
And
that.
it's just across the back, it's not on the side, but
Yeah.
totally.
The neighbor, I guess, to your right, looking from Demolison, had the 8 foot fence.
Correct.
Yes.
I actually, that was our first house there, but that fence was in when I bought that house. We're actually renting it right now.
Okay, yes, sir. Yeah, okay. What's the pleasure of the council?
I'll make a motion to
Override P.
override P and Z and approve the application.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Hoffman, to override P and Z's recommendation and approve the variance for the 8 foot fence, second by Mr. Seal. Any further discussion? Vote to motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
Aye. Motion passes 5-2. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, and
All
again,
right,
I
no
really appreciate your time. I have the highest
Okay.
respect for your public service. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Brenton. Okay. Aye, motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve the application for variance to the zone ordinance as submitted by Andre Weber and Reuben Keating, located at 306 St. John Street, parcel 149L-0-29-085.000, approved 5-0. Is anybody here represent? Oh, hey, sir, how you doing?
Good.
I best start looking up while I'm reading, huh? Anybody in opposition to the application? What's the pleasure of the council?
Make a motion to follow planning and zoning's recommendation and approve.
Second.
Motion, Mr. Hoffman, second, Mr. Reed, to follow P and Z's recommendation and approve the application. Any further discussion amongst the council?
Yeah, discussion, with just the roof slope on that, we're gonna have gutters on this, ensure there's no,
Yes, sir.
okay, just require gutters. So there's no drainage on adjacent properties.
We discussed all that.
Amend my
Amend my
motion.
motion.
All right, thank you.
motion is amended, and the second is amended to make sure it includes gutters. Vote the motion, please.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
J is motion to follow planning and zone's recommendation and approve the application for the variance to the zoning ordinance as submitted by Bill and Ann Hager located at 126 Demolition Avenue, partial 149F-0-29-230.000, approved 5-0 by planning and zoning. Hey, Miss Ann, how you doing? Anybody here opposed to the application? What's the pleasure of the council?
I make a motion, we follow plan and zoning's recommendation, approve application for variance to the zoning ordinance as submitted by Bill and Ann Hager, located at 126 Demolition Avenue.
Motion, Mr. Noblock.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hoffman. Any further discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
seeing you, been a while.
Yep, okay.
Thank you, Miss Ann.
K is motion to follow planning and zone's recommendation and approve the text amendment to the zoning ordinance Article 8, regulations for off-street parking and loading areas, Section 803, exceptions to state in the Central Business District C1. No off-road parking is required with the exception of whenever a residential or hotel motel use is permitted. Such residential or hotel motel use shall comply to the regulations for off-street parking. It was approved 5-0. Motion, Mr. Seal.
Second.
Second, Mr. Reed. Any discussion?
So explain this further.
I think this will eliminate what happened kind of when,
C1 district, you're not required any parking downtown.
so even on a hotel or motel.
For residential, you are.
Right.
Hotels, you're not.
Right.
So where they park?
Huh?
So where they park?
By right, they can park in the street. Just
Well, how come
it-
they're not, if we're gonna build a new hotel, why aren't they being forced?
They
That's
are,
what
that's
it
what
This
this
is why
does.
we're doing this.
This is gonna make them, this is gonna make them have off-street parking.
Right now,
It's not
yeah.
required.
Before it was not required.
Well,
Okay.
before there was kind of a,
The Pearl built
Right.
their parking lot, but
yes.
They were not required
they
to
were
be.
not
didn't have to
required
buy.
to buy our.
Okay, I understand it.
And it's
Yeah.
a one-for-one, meaning one room,
Well,
one vehicle?
it's delineated in our
Okay,
code
but then that's what it
ordinances.
is.
Might
It
be
just
So whether
goes
it's
back to
condo.
whatever
Yeah.
code.
Might be a
workers
few
and-
extras.
workers, somebody spot for workers and,
See,
It's-
before, you had all that for hotel motel, but if they built in C1, it was all
It-
exempt.
Yeah,
Didn't need it,
matter.
so it just went away, so
Yeah.
that was the problem.
better,
Yes,
definitely.
yes, because I'm sure there's gonna be more coming down that way. So, okay. I hear the motion, Seal, second, Mr. Reed on that. Any further discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion passes 7-0. Thank you. L, motion to follow plan and zoning recommendation and approve the application for text amendment submitted by the city of Bay St. Louis to amend Article 4 General Regulations, Section 406.3, fence materials to add item B, fence material must comply with all of Bay St. Louis ordinances, approved 5-0.
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Seal. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Hoffman. Any discussion?
And where did this one come up from?
I think this was that chicken wire fence.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
the
razor
the
wire.
ordinances were just back and forth, and we want to try to
It just
have
cleans it up.
everything covered under one.
Basically just
Um,
cross-references, so now your zoning ordinance, by having that in there, cross-references it to your,
To the code?
your property maintenance code, or your historical, or anything else that you guys may have,
Right.
that pass, that has to do with fences, that will shoot it over to that.
It's something I did, I mean, I know we brought it up before, and I've gotten a couple requests in my ward, and I think maybe even Mr. Burke gets it quite often, Mayor, and that's the ranch fencing, where you've got the gauge that has it bordered by the wood fencing, and is that something, I mean, we can look at amending, I know we've had this discussion here, and some say, well, aesthetically, is that good, is it not? But I think that's a continued trend. It's referred to as a Kenichi fence. I mean, everyone that I've talked to is like, I want that fence that Kenichi's got in his office. That's what everyone's wanting.
That's
now.
framed.
That's framed.
Yeah.
That's right. That is framed out with, yeah.
I would prefer for us to stop referring it as that.
But that's
No,
what-
it's dubbed. It's there. It's there.
That needs to go
Is that-
away.
The Kenichi fence.
That's what, and I've
legal.
had people ask me, like, I
It's
want
not
that one
legal.
that's unconditional. Technically, right now, not allowed,
Yeah.
but revisiting the amendment to discuss that.
Yeah, bring it back up. You know, my problem, quite honestly, is the maintenance of it. You got, today you got wood borders on it, and 6 months, a year from now, the wood border goes away, then you got a pasture fence on Main Street in Bay St. Louis. Right, how do you, honestly, just how do you, it looks great, 100%, I agree, it looks
Yeah,
great.
it does
How
look
do you enforce or require people to make it continue to look great?
So your concern is from a, even from a
Aesthetics.
safety standpoint too,
Yeah.
if that wood comes off and you have exposed wires
Well,
there?
but in aesthetics, right? I mean, in 6 months, a year, all the wood could come off and you'll have pasture fence on Main Street in Bay St. Louis.
Mhm.
To me, that's what it would look like. And that, you know, yes, it looks great.
I mean, that
You can have
happens now
enough-
with unmaintained wooden
If
fences.
you had enough teeth to require somebody to paint it and make it, you know, again, any fence, right? It's just painting the butt. It looks great. I agree 100%, but how do you
We
maintain
had,
it?
you know, the additive was framed in would be no different than what a fence, a
Right.
wooden fence would be to maintain it. You know, if your boards come off and this and that, you have to replace your boards
It
to
is.
maintain that,
Just-
you know.
You have enough teeth to maintain it, right? I agree, it looks great, but
Yeah.
down the road, your wood goes away and you're not maintaining it, and then you got a bunch of pasture fence on Main Street, and it looks terrible.
And when you
Then it gets
ride
good
around,
compliance, yeah.
it's been here for a long time.
Oh, yeah, there's a couple.
I mean, seems like every time you ride a road and when you're really looking,
Right.
it's there,
Yeah,
from long ago.
right.
And all,
They had those old concrete pillars.
Uh-huh.
that's right.
Yep.
I got a couple in my yard.
Yeah.
It's
Can't-
exactly right. And that, some of it is really with old cattle fencing, whereas this is heavy duty. You know,
It's heavy duty gauge, I agree, but.
Gauge, yeah.
it's
But-
still
And I like,
pedal-
I thought, man, that was a good point though, stipulating framed in to where.
Well,
you know,
it
comes, you know,
it was
yeah.
stipulated, but it's
It-
just.
it is.
the
Just
maintenance on
maintaining
it.
it.
And then I think, you know, what it would be to maintain that,
That's
like
Yeah,
being
that's
said.
Rob, that's-
No, you know, no different than a normal
maintain
fence, you know, when it's in bad shape, you gotta replace it or whatever, you know, and, you know, fix it and all. And it'd be the same thing if your boards come off for whatever reason, you know, then they gotta be replaced and it's gotta be maintained to
Mhm.
where it's, you know,
And then National Property Maintenance Code probably addresses that, 'cause it was pretty stringent on a bunch of stuff. I haven't looked at
It's just the more
that
rules and
section,
regulations
yeah.
you got, the more you have to enforce, the more it's just, and I talked to a young man in the building department today, he came after we denied it, and I explained it to him, you know, what my concern was. He said, well, I guess you know, I could see that as well. I said, I think it looks great, but the more stuff you gotta enforce and maintain, and, you know, if you have a public outcry, and 75% of the cities in Bay St. Louis wants to have it, that's great. If you got 2 or 3 people that want it, then,
Yeah, I'm also not for the more restrictive of what we tell someone you can or can't have.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so that's also something I look at is, I don't wanna tell you that you can't have that either. So, I
Right.
mean, I get your side of it, but also.
yeah,
The more restriction to me is not better always, so.
make it wide open, let it go.
Mhm. Yeah, okay. Let's vote this motion, if no further discussion on this. Any further discussion on this one? No.
You know, I'd like to just table this and let's explore that option, like quote-unquote Jason's fence, to see if
We
there
had,
is.
we had something came through planning and zoning already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was
I
sent
think
back.
Did we
for-
table it, or we sent it back?
Sent it back to be more defined, I
Right,
think.
yeah.
I
it
think
was
wanted
broad.
define frame,
Right, we do have, I mean, we do have,
define what frame means.
Define what
application
the
out there.
gauge, define what the gauge
This has
is.
nothing to do with that.
No.
What y'all are talking with has nothing to do
Right.
Exactly.
with,
Yeah.
But I think we sent
The
that
amendment,
back
that's
and
what
they
we
was
said.
trying to
We're
define
hoping to get that on the next agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for
This is
P&Z
covering razor wire.
and bring back.
Yeah.
no, Gary, that,
it's in
the
commercial.
use of razor wire shall not be allowed in residential
Yeah,
districts.
that's what it says.
Yeah.
That is your current zoning ordinance.
Yeah.
That is what it says.
Mm-hmm.
We did not change that. Quite frankly, the only reason I didn't change that is because I'm perfectly fine saying, having that, because I don't think anybody wants razor wire in a residential neighborhood.
They could
All
have
this
if they
does-
want it. I
Mhm.
mean, why
Huh.
not? Let them have it.
There's multiple reasons why not, but anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. The
Will
only
you?
thing that's
Absolutely.
added is B, that highlighted part, fence material must comply with all Bay St. Louis ordinances. That is the only thing that is being
Right.
changed.
And we can always bring that, I think, once we get it more granular, and I did see something that we could do, specify galvanized gauge and
Yeah.
framed in, with,
Yeah.
you know, and specify that, so that, I mean, it's
It's
something we
kinda
can bring back
generic,
up for
what we
now.
got.
I think it was defined a little bit as far as the wire goes.
That was defined. The border wasn't defined.
The border was not defined, you know, what is the border?
Yes.
So you can make a standalone fence ordinance all you want, or you can tweak your property maintenance code or whatever you want.
Mhm.
You can tweak that every 3 months if you feel the need to, but
Yeah.
you won't ever have to tweak your zoning, because your zoning is just
Okay.
referencing.
Just get with Jeremy and he can update us where he's at with that and bring it to the next meeting maybe.
Yeah.
I know he was working on it. so-
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, vote the motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Mayor's report. Motion to authorize Hancock County Community Development Foundation to install 2 stars on Main Street in front of Hancock County Courthouse to recognize Fred Wallace Hayes Jr. and the people of Hancock County.
Yeah, and what that is,
And also, please let the record reflect that Mr. Reed is recusing himself.
Okay, all right.
Right.
Mr. Reed's recused himself.
it's, you know, in recognition of the people of Hancock County that left their homes and all for the Stennis Space Center out there and all.
Okay, for the buffer zone.
Yeah, this is just the way they have it worded. I don't think that's what's gonna be on the stall, but it's recognizing all the people that gave up their homes, you know, in the buffer zone and had to move out and all, you know, for Stennis,
Okay,
you know.
good deal.
And then I think Mr. Hayes is gonna be 90 years old, Heather,
Mm-hmm.
And that's Saturday
You
at 3.
so
Saturday at 3, okay.
I think
And I
it's,
think that is Brett
I
Hayes'
think that is
birthday.
correct,
Okay.
you
His
know,
90th
so.
birthday.
And I think he'll be down.
It will be. He plans to
So-
drive
Good deal.
from Texas.
Motion, Mr. Seal. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Hoffman. Any further discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes 6-0.
And that's also one of the big events this weekend with the Stennis. Also, I think they got Buds and Burgers tied into it, so it's gonna be even a bigger event along with everything else going on with the mermaids and everything, Near Reach back at the depot and all, so it's gonna be a big weekend.
Okay,
So they have, the Stennis Day in the Bay from noon to 5 at the courthouse, which this will be part of that.
Yeah.
And then they also have a pre-reception on Friday evening at the 300 South Second in Bay St. Louis from 5 to 7. I don't know.
Is that not Old City Hall?
It's,
Okay,
probably somewhere right around,
yeah, all right. Okay.
area, I would think.
So that was approved 6-0. Mr. Reed had recused himself. We'll move to item B.
That's Old City Hall.
Yes, okay. Mr. Reed's entered the room
That
again.
way it's 300.
Mhm.
Close to go.
It's a motion to approve the recommendation of architect
That
to
makes
accept the best and low bid for ADA improvements and renovation of the historic Bay St. Louis L&N Train Depot. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Hoffman,
Second with discussion.
second, Mr. Reed with discussion. I had a question or two also, but you go ahead, Mr. Reed.
And we do have Ed here.
Yes,
any
Mr.
questions?
Wykoff, if you
Yeah.
come up, please.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen. I was asked to be here today in case you have a question. We did receive 4 bids on October 19th from 4 reputable local contractors. The low bid was Hopkins Construction, the same contractor that did the storm damage work at Senior Citizen Center, so we have experience with them here on city property and city projects.
Okay.
So I'm comfortable with the recommendation.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Were you
Yeah.
pretty comfortable with it? Cause
Yeah.
I noticed,
Prices. Ooh.
in, one particular
Mhm.
item,
Right.
he's pretty low in it.
Right.
And,
Yeah, and we had a couple of conversations about that. In this case, it's their painting contractor. They have, they're starting a new relationship with a new painter that I'm familiar with, and apparently he was very interested in gaining Hopkins' trust and work, and so.
Mhm.
well, he's
So,
gonna get in favor with
So
it.
he,
Yeah.
so, yeah, and, you know, we experience that across all trades. Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
So-
Mr. Wykoff, did they have a body of work that's consistent with the age of this building that they've done past
Yes,
projects
yes,
on?
they do, in other cities and states.
Yeah.
And that's for 2 coats of paint, right?
That's
What about
whitewash.
primer?
That's whitewash.
Mhm.
Yeah, by specification, yes, absolutely. And of course, we'll be making
Material
sure
looks
that
like it's gonna cost that.
meet all the specifications.
But he's higher in on other stuff.
He is, and so that's part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that, more of my questions were the same as Mr. Reed's, just the fluctuation in price for the painting was so much difference. I mean,
Yeah, some of the,
almost half price
some of the
of the
bidders had
next
some
closest.
difficulty finding some of the trades to bid work. And as you know, in our part of the world these days, a lot of people are very busy. So,
Does this include
as
any,
you know, bidding takes time, and some people,
what about plaster? If there's problems, is that a change order to go back and fix
well,
plaster?
so there are
or is that part of
there's
the
interior
prepping painting?
plaster work that's being done, that's being repaired, as you know, as a result of the roof work. And so that's a separate component of this. There are 4 different components to this,
Okay.
bid, and
So,
so the,
all right.
Mr. Wykoff, are y'all addressing like, does this include anything with the elevators?
No,
Over there.
the elevators are fine, and the communications from those elevators have recently been upgraded along with the alarm systems. in the
Okay, because I'm
building.
getting complaints on the elevator,
You are?
getting stuck.
Really? I've not heard.
I have not.
Yeah.
I've not gotten a call.
Okay.
And we got a call on the air conditioning the other day.
And yeah, that was my next thing I was gonna bring up
We
about
got
the
a call on
air
that.
conditioners leaking in the walls.
Yeah, well, the air conditioning work, I understood that had been taken care of. So that's not part of this contract. So perhaps there's the maintenance issue.
Okay, I was just making sure.
But we still have money out there to
Correct.
do additional repairs, because we only
This
spent
is
about
a
half. of what we-
50-50 match.
Yeah, this is a big match.
Yes.
This is a 50-50 match through the railroad.
Yes.
Right, yeah, it's a 50-50 match. It's made up of the ADA renovations to the restroom, and ADA accessible entrance and backstop. That includes the exterior painting, interior plaster work, the repair and paint, and then we've got some work on the ADA ramps and corrected and painted. So there's some of that work to be done. What will remain to be done will be all the work on the platform that will happen after Amtrak makes the decision to move on. And just as an aside, I have a monthly conference call with the Federal Railroad Administration and
been
Southern Rail Commission, and the latest I understand from them is that they're expecting service to begin in the fall of 2024. I think you might recall that I was saying
That's a year.
until
from
recently
back.
So
that
about a year
that it
from
was
now,
the
roughly.
spring of 20.
Yeah, it was scheduled for the fall of 23.
Yeah.
First of the year, then the spring.
It's a move.
What's the, Ed, what's the timeframe for this, what's the timeframe for these repairs?
For this work to begin?
Mhm.
Well, once you give the approval, I will give them a notice of award, then they'll put their contracts together, we'll get a notice, give them a notice to proceed, and they have 150 days, substantial.
Okay.
And we're gonna reach out also, make sure that they're okay with the scope of work going on and all, and that their grant is ready, also.
All right.
Make sure we get reimbursed in a timely manner.
Okay, good deal. Good. Okay.
It's gonna take us 19 years to recover this cost. With our sales tax diversion we're gonna get from the tourists that come to town.
Yeah.
Well, how old is
I think
the
we
building?
approved this.
Hopefully, this
10 years
building's gonna
ago,
be here
9
another
years
100
ago.
years.
Right, yeah, we're gonna get
And it's still not here.
$12,950 if 10,000 people ride the train to the city of Bay St. Louis and spend $100 a day.
Yeah. But that district is
Right.
coming back alive, though.
Yeah,
The
it's
restaurants,
certainly
great
is.
down there.
storefronts, it's
Yeah,
really
it's
coming
great.
back.
And we gotta maintain the buildings, I know,
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
that, but just, there's no, this
That's
is
probably-
big plaza,
That's probably the best thing coming out of this,
a waste of
Yeah.
money.
upgrade to the building.
waste of
I think that's the
taxpayers' money.
point, and of course, the building is more than 100 years old at this point,
Yeah.
and we'd like to get another 100 years.
Yeah, we have to maintain the building, so.
Yep.
I think there's no question it'll be one of the finest
Make a lot.
little rail stop
Oh, yeah,
along our
it's
Gulf
beautiful.
Coast
Yes.
Amtrak.
I think a lot of business across the street are in preparation for the Amtrak.
Ain't nobody can ride freaking trains, basically.
Yeah, so. Had a motion, Hoffman, second Reed. Any further discussion? Vote the motion.
Aye.
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 All right, passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Mr. Wykoff. C, motion to approve ordinance 663-11-2023 requiring driveways to have a minimum of 5 feet concrete driveway apron in the city of Bay St. Louis. This is so rocks don't keep getting
Yeah,
onto for the road and
What this
everything,
is, you
but-
know, a lot of people nowadays going with the limestone driveways and all. And they're just doing it all the way out to the road. They ending in the road, one, it's a safety hazard. The bad safety hazard, especially for bikes, you know, motorbikes, that type thing and all. Plus people walking and all as well. But it also tears the roads up with all that traffic going over. And one of the guys that does an excellent job on this is Mark Benfatti when he builds a house. He has a large apron that keeps the rocks up in their property and everything. So we're looking at the same, it's something we've looked at for quite a while, and Ricky has finally gotten around to it and has put something together with this and all, and it's just a good thing.
Yep.
And what it is, you just gotta have a concrete area, you know, if they want asphalt, that would work as well, as long as it keeps the concrete from coming out in the road.
Yeah, the rock,
So,
yeah, okay.
so what is the delineation line from their property? So most driveways are on city property.
Yes,
Right,
it's
so where does
from the
this-
road. I think they have it to
Well,
where.
it doesn't say, it just says 5 foot, right?
It would be 5 feet from the road.
Apron from the road, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cause yeah, I mean, that's all city property.
So this is a new ordinance here.
This is new going in place, and they've been telling people, and I tell you, they've
That's
been
good,
very
I
good
mean,
about
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, it's good.
So this is just to create an ordinance that will, you know, we can say, hey, you know, this is
Right.
it, this is what's required of you.
Yeah, I think it's a great ordinance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is, look,
It's
I'll tell you
needed.
guys, this is one that 3 months from now, we may come back and it might have amendment 1 to this ordinance that, but this is to get us moving in the right direction, to have something on the book. So, you know, if we come back and there's something that needs to be more specific, or if a contractor says, hey, you know, we should be able to do this too, we may bring you back an amendment, but at least this lets the building department
Cool.
to start enforcing it.
Yeah, I think it looks good when they have the apron and the borders going up with the rocks in the
Right.
middle.
Yeah.
It's a good look, and plus it
And
drains the
I tell
water
you,
and everything.
Mark
good.
does a very good job when
Mhm.
he puts them in. You can tell
Yeah.
most of the time the ones he does, and that's exactly how, and he'll have them halfway marks in there every so often, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And all.
So I've seen it, I'm assuming if you have a driveway, they're trying to extend it out to the left or right of it, they're gonna have to have that border, right? And then what about the horizontal? I've seen some where they, and it's, I mean, it's on easement, it's on city property, they're on a horizontal parking area with limestone.
Parallel to the
parallel
road
the
right
street-
there.
Parallel to the road.
That's
So this
one of
would
the
be
things we need
spread
to address as well. That's gonna be the same, that's gonna, this here would
it-
follow
Knock
that.
that out then.
Yeah,
basically.
and they would have to follow this as well. But some of that we may go back and look, cause that's some of the ones, when, you know, when they're 30, 40 foot long, there's a lot of rocks down that road. And again, the number one concern is safety for, you know, bikes, motorbikes, that type thing. Cause they come through there and hit that, they gonna wipe out, no telling what, you know.
Yep.
And so, you know, number one priority is to increase the safety and all, then, you know, come on down to the least, you know, would be tearing up our roads and everything with all
And they
the
don't
traffic.
have to, you have somebody that does that, because that is still technically city property. I mean, they don't come and, I wouldn't imagine they come and get a permit. I mean, they're just dumping those rocks down, so.
Yep, we see it from place to place.
All right. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Reed. Do I have a second? Second, Mr. Seal. Any further discussion? Vote to motion.
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, council. Anything else, Mayor?
No, just big weekend with a lot of stuff going on.
Yep. Council business, nothing underneath it. Anything new or old, Mr. Hoffman?
No.
Anything, Mr. Reed?
No, sir.
Mr. Seal?
Pickleball court, I wasn't here at that meeting, I forgot to ask, why did we deny those bids?
Yes, bids came in extremely high, we thought. One of the bids couldn't be opened because they left information off of it and everything, but that's not the reason. It just came in higher than what we expected. So we're gonna put it back out. Hopefully we get some more people to bid on it.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact number, I think
Yeah, I saw it. in minutes, and I
160 or
just-
something like that was low bid.
I'm gonna round some numbers, 150, 200, 250.
And that's for how many courts?
Two,
Two
Just
courts.
2 pickleball courts.
That was just the courts
Which is half the
and a
size
net,
of a
not the fencing,
court.
not the lighting, not the
Huh?
sidewalk.
I mean, that's essentially half of a tennis court.
Well, I think it was,
Right.
yeah, wow.
Can't we pour
We're
some
expecting
concrete?
it to be in the 100 range,
Yeah, we expected, yeah.
based on what we were being told.
We expected some of the people we had talked to. was
Now, what's the
way
difference? I mean,
40,000 per court, you know.
I know I talked to about just having somebody pour concrete, something about the cracking or something. Is it special concrete or something they put in it, or what's different? I mean, all concrete
Yeah,
cracks just
compress it
about.
to where it
Press the
tries to stop
concrete.
crack.
what they're trying to do is, put that cable in it.
Yeah,
I mean-
stress factor
Like a
out.
tension
Right.
slab then?
Tension, yeah.
Tension slab?
But, I mean, you could grit it out, and pour concrete and paint it just like they did at Old City Hall.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much what,
A lot cheaper than that.
and
but-
yeah, it'd be a whole lot cheaper, yeah.
Yeah.
again, it's about double what we expected.
Wow.
Can,
that
can we
surface
just go
was-
to the local concrete, contractor and give them an estimate on it, or?
We're hoping more people bid on it.
Okay.
Well, it's the hot thing now, right?
Yeah.
That's why everybody's
Could be.
jacking up, well, I mean, right, it's the going thing, so everybody's gonna start
It's-
making the money
it's
off
the
of it.
Government in front of it too, and
Yeah.
they say,
Yeah, and we did talk about possibly talking to our grant writer about the grant
yeah.
possibility. Have they checked into that, or do you know?
I spoke with her about that, about looking to identify if there's
Jamie's trying to
something
find
out there
some
that
as
we could
well,
possibly
and another
solicit.
one.
Okay, yeah, so, man, I was gonna say, I don't know. I was thinking just get somebody to go out there and give us a price on the slab, and
Yep.
put the slab down and start something. It would be 3 more years discussing this and
Right.
still not have
exactly.
nothing.
Just
I-
pour it,
and
just
it's-
grit it out and pour it, instead of 4 inches, pour it 5, 6 inches thick.
Yeah,
And, there you got your, it'll be a whole lot cheaper than the prices that came in.
And I think, I
Yes.
tend to remember the surface was just based on if we ever, which we don't have enough courts for anyway, but is if you ever wanna have tournaments or whatever the case is, you have to have a special surface, but other than that, I mean, they're
Want
fine.
recreational courts.
Yeah, but
Right.
this is not intended for this purpose right now.
And then the same stuff you put on the courts with, they're painting them and putting the, resurfacer on there. I mean, that resurfacer gives, you know, back and forward and, you know, put some of that, I mean, city did that.
mhm.
The workers of the city did that and, I mean, we could do something like that in-house.
So can we just get a price on laying the courts out and get a local contractor to build them?
We had them laid out.
I mean, as far, no, go ahead and get a local contractor and pour us 2 slabs.
Or one slab for now,
Or-
one slab,
Yeah.
phase it out, one at a time, do a couple slabs, that way
Mm-hmm.
we can
Think as
look
long
at,
as it's below 75,000, is that the magic
75
number
is your,
ever?
you
How-
got a bid,
yeah,
or
Yeah,
you
'cause
got
if
under
you
get- You'd be way
75, you
below.
And if
can
you
flip
get
it.
to 100, you've gotta have an engineer involved.
yeah.
And we've already done that.
I mean, I know we want tournament stuff eventually, but I would just like to see courts built
Well,
eventually
right now, we just need
you
to
know?
start.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
need- Yeah,
Something
And
on the
that's why
ground
we
for the
flipped over
springs.
to-
you crawl
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, let's see the use of it, see how well it's utilized, well, that'll determine how much we want to spend in the future on
Mm-hmm.
making it bigger and better, you know?
Well, I guess, yeah, you know, a couple courts there and all, and see if it's as big as what, you know, we may be thinking and all, is that the right location to put them to start with, a bunch of them? You know, 'cause you gotta think about parking and everything else
Mhm.
and all, so is that the right place to put 6, 8, 10, 12 of them eventually? I don't know that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, yeah.
How do we push the ball forward and go ahead and just approve getting 1 court poured? Get a contractor to go lay out a slab and pour it.
Get 2 quotes probably from contractors and bring it back, whatever, huh? Yeah,
The last action y'all took was to re-advertise.
yeah.
Again,
They're still gonna be
that should
expensive.
be going out.
If it hasn't hit the paper yet.
They may already be
It might,
advertising.
yeah.
Mm,
We-
okay.
We can wait and see what comes out of that, 'cause we hoping some more bids on it.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And hopefully we come closer to what we're thinking than
Okay.
where they're at.
Right.
So, you know, a couple more weeks. I know we
Okay.
can wait
Yeah, next meeting and see.
kick it down
Is
the
that,
road.
is that bidding with the lights and all that, like, or are we
Hey,
looking
put
at
that up back on the agenda, please.
getting the lights from Mississippi Power?
The way it
or-
was originally built was bid was strictly the courts, because that's a specific contractor that comes in and does that type of work.
With fencing?
And then
lights,
he was gonna get a general contractor just to come in and do fencing and sidewalk work.
lights is one of those things. we
So
get
otherwise they're just
Mississippi
gonna
Power,
mark
they
up
can
things.
Right, that's
install
what,
what
we can
want.
rent those lights or
Yeah,
whatever
You know,
for,
we just put some in the parking garage, we removed the city lights that's in the parking garage, and they went up with black poles with just LED lights up there, it's gonna, should light it up brighter and all, and what these little, you know, city lights did and all. So we, you know, it's the same type of light we're looking at there. They have all the information, we got the information too, what kind of lights is needed for the court. If I'm not mistaken, it's just one on each side of it, or 2 on each side. It's not a lot of lights.
Was that in the bid? I mean,
No,
I
that
don't
was just
remember
strictly
what
the
all.
so the bid was just, slab, tension slab,
it was astronomical.
and striping it.
striping it and that.
Yeah, finish and
Yeah,
everything, you
yeah.
know, yeah.
Yeah, that's-
I would assume And Jason, it probably also contains whatever ADA you need, because, I mean, when you build stuff, it has to be ADA compliant. So I'm sure it connected it to the sidewalks, connecting it to your other facility to bring it up to ADA. Could be wrong on that, but Jason's usually on top of that.
We'll, again, I think we should just see what the next ones come in at.
And go from
And then
there.
we can also be working on moving forward in another direction.
Okay,
When do the next one's supposed to come in?
I don't know, I'll find out.
Okay.
okay.
I think it may be out for bid now, if not, I'm sure it's going out next week, or it might be in this episode coming up.
Yeah, I would think it would
I'll
go this
find out.
Thursday, it would've been, if not,
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Seal?
Nope, that's it, thank you.
Mr. Lewis?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Mr. Zimmerman? Got anything? Mr. Noblock?
Good.
Only thing I had is, we probably need to look at doing the same lights by the community center. When you walk out into the parking lot, it's kinda dark out there, the big community
Over on the
center.
big parking lot.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
big, with all the oak trees, the lights are kinda smothered in the limbs, and it's just kinda dark out there at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done a lot of trimming over there, trying to clean that up. Looking at removing some of them the water oaks and all over there as well.
Okay,
Some of the palm that's all
Yeah.
over. But, that's a dark,
it's dark back there.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
care if we get rid of every oak tree, it's still gonna be dark in that parking lot.
Yeah, we need some kinda better
So
lights, I
that's,
think.
that's an opportunity there as well, you know.
Yeah.
And look, I think, I don't know, it's like $30-something a month for these new lights from Mississippi Power. That's the pole and all, whatever it is, you know, it's not anything crazy.
Well, and like we discussed, if they go out or they break or they get damaged,
That's on them.
that's on them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's no different than our street lights, you know, everyday street lights. Not the city owned, but the big lights.
Right.
Come in and replace them.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mayor. I think Mr. Williams is gone. Ted Chase, I think was, Mr. Ted, there you are.
Appreciate your time, gentlemen. My name is Ted Chase, resident of Bay St. Louis, 515 State Street. Just a couple of observations. I've been to several venues at the community center, and I'm not sure how much have I heard when I was there, because the acoustic system within that building is atrocious. Is there any way, gentlemen, that we can address that so it's a much better venue, particularly as we expect increased tourism and the possibility of using that facility?
I know they did some updating to the amp or something, and new mics possibly, is that correct? Or
Soundboard inside of it.
it's just,
yeah, I mean,
More.
the only
It's just
thing
the
we
wall.
did was add,
Yeah.
basically the PA though.
yeah.
So
Yeah, but it's
two
just
mics that
the
put out
concrete
sound, it's not
floors
dealing.
and echo in it.
Yeah, the problem is concrete floors and high ceilings and just
Just to look at it, have
Yes,
somebody come in, because like I said, I think it's a shame when we have the space and the availability that it offers the community and stuff, really not to have, a first-class space. And that includes people being able to hear, whether it's marriage vows or speakers and stuff on whatever it happens to be.
Yes, sir.
The second observation is, I was involved with the MLK Park project. I think that probably goes back 4 years ago when there were initial conversations and stuff about the splash pad. I know that we've had a pandemic and some other
Mm-hmm.
wonderful opportunities to address this.
Yeah.
Can we please take a look at those basketball courts and see if we can't finish them before next summer play begins?
Okay. We'll definitely look at
We
it.
will.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Thank
Gary,
you.
is there,
Thank you.
does Rotary still have money, Gary, for that building?
For the community
Just the
center, it's
main-
around 100,000 in that,
You know, 'cause
trust
I
fund.
was at St. Thomas and they have a big reception area, and I mean, the whole top sealed area's got those sound boards basically around all the windows in the roof area, and I don't know if that's something we looked at
Well,
it a
you'd
couple
have-
times about and there are some sound boards in there, but
They got the shutters over them, and that's part of the architectural ambiance of the inside
Right.
of the place, but it doesn't do much
kind
with
of
the
defeats them.
sound.
Yeah,
Okay.
'cause it's,
I mean, you'd have to get some kind of sound person.
yeah. Probably the people that did all PA system from Slidell or something,
Sound
wasn't they?
boards like in here.
Probably get them to come look at that building.
Or like a
possibly.
sound engineer, not a guy that installs it, but an engineer.
No, I think they did all that, didn't they? Okay.
I think they had one done originally, but they didn't follow, the architect didn't follow all the recommendations for the sound muffling.
It bounces in there a lot. It's
It's,
hard to
it makes you,
understand.
it tires you out.
Yeah, it does. Connie? So she was completing this. Mr. Philip, I think, Mermel, I think he left earlier too, so, okay. Nobody else from PNC? Nothing from Mr. Cliff tonight? Okay. You okay? You feeling all right?
Just keep going, Josh, keep going, don't stir the bear up.
Yeah,
Mr. John's not here. I need to call and check on him.
yeah. I seen him in his yard today when I went and looked at
He's
Miss
good?
Ann Hager's house, yeah.
Who's that?
As long as
Mr. John Ullman.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, city clerk's report. Motion to approve the Bay St. Louis docket of claims number 23-044 dated November 7th, 2023 in the amount of $682,909.96. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Seal. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Hoffman.
Only discussion, Mike Rizzo, did you ever find out about that lift station flood insurance?
Yes, and
You might have sent me out.
I forwarded it, John replied, and I forwarded it back to you.
Okay, yeah, I was just.
Basically, the values, I think maybe Buddy or somebody else was involved years ago in trying to determine like valuation of those.
It's the whole station.
It's all of them.
Okay, I was just questioning, make sure it was the whole station, not just the building. All right,
That's not exactly what John sent back to me.
Cool.
To you.
yeah, I didn't look, thank you.
Only question, we ever looked at getting a used boom truck or something? I seen we had a pretty large boom.
Every time we get the.
Yeah, every time we get a boom truck out here, this bill had like 3 of them on here, had up to $5,000 or $6,000. When I was at the Water and Sewer District, we found one used for $12,000 and they saved a ton of money since then.
Yeah,
So,
they're looking at that.
they're pretty cheap at auctions or used somewhere, so.
Maybe check with Coast Electric.
Yeah, Coast Electric might have an old boom truck or something.
Coast Electric.
I got an old one, I'll sell you.
Yeah, Gary, there we go.
It's getting ready to go out.
Yeah. I just noticed it was
Don't give us a
3
lot.
hits on
Huh?
there.
Don't give us a lot.
So,
A lot of money.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
it's a good one.
Oh, yeah, Betty.
so, all right. Any further discussion? Vote that motion.
Aye.
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 Aye, passes 7-0. Thank you. Consent agenda items A through AB.
Josh,
Yes, sir.
let's break out B, C, and D. Those are some nice donations that are coming in, and you ought to vote on them separately, just so that people are recognized. One of these donations is a $3,000.
And you
Yeah, I
can
wanted
read
to
that.
recognize,
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that up about those three. Again, you know, it's $3,000 from the food parade, the donation to the police department, $500 from Uncle Joe's Pizza and all, and $100 from Blind Tiger's Shellfish Express, all to the police department and everything going on, you know, from the food parade and all. So, you know, that was one of the things I had wanted to recognize them and all. And I wish they had to come and present the checks here and all.
Yeah. Okay.
They're all pretty busy as well.
Yes. Maybe we can just make something, give them a little recognition, you know, so. Do you want to still remove them and do them separate? Mr.
Well, I mean, he just recognized
Okay.
it, it's fine.
All right, so consent agenda items as presented, items A through AB. Motion, Mr. Seal.
Second with discussion.
Second, Mr. Reed. Discussion.
Yeah, I just, just need a refreshing one more time on the, cause we have the cash balance, on there. Explain those reserve funds to me again. I told you I would ask this. We had 3 of them. 005, 006, 007.
So municipal reserve, basically y'all use that for a lot of your projects.
Okay, all right.
It's funds that are separated. Your
Right.
one that's '06 was set up when y'all did the police department building. So that's your municipal reserve special.
That was a 2-point-something million going to the police department.
Okay.
And then the
That's
emergency,
That 2 million going to the police department, have we just about exhausted that?
Yes.
yeah, we're waiting, that's,
We're waiting on some reimbursements and all. I don't know.
we aren't able to submit yet because we're waiting, basically, I think,
2 years.
we're waiting on 2 signatures from Jackson on the grant agreements for FY '22 and FY '23, I believe, which is $1 million each.
Okay,
We're prepared and ready to send receipts. we can't submit the receipts until they sign the grant agreement. And so that's ready to go. That's police.
Okay,
And then
so,
we have the emergency.
Mike,
Sir.
so once you get these funds, they have to be reallocated.
They go, right,
Then
we're
they
gonna
go
have,
back into
we're
the-
probably gonna have 2 million in this.
Right, because
You
these
definitely
funds
have
get
2 million into
reimbursed
it.
back to us, will be sitting there. Because the police department would be finished.
Correct.
So where would we allocate them from?
We're
It'll go
basically
back
repaying
into the-
ourselves. We just
Yeah.
still have $2 million of local dollars basically
Yeah, but
into
these
that
funds
building.
were dedicated to the police department,
Correct.
and once they get
And they're reimbursing
reimbursements,
us.
they have to be
But,
reallocated.
but this money here was set aside for our share of the police department.
I know, but we gotta.
So we may not need the full, I think we had 2.5 million set aside. We may not need the 2.5 million. So if we got, say, I'm just throwing it out there, cause I have no idea what that number's gonna be, the final total and everything. But if we have 500,000 reimbursed, that would go back into that fund, and then it would be decided by the council what to do with that money from there on.
Okay.
But,
You know what I'm saying?
But right now, it's saying expected reimbursements at $2,077,000.
Correct. And once that's done and the building's done, if there's any balance in that fund, it's council action.
That
So it's
goes-
about $2 million.
No. We
Should
have,
be.
no, because we got $3 million, it's gonna cost us over $5 million. When we put $2.5 million aside, we had $2 million in grants, 1 million from the first year, 1 million the year after.
I remember.
So we put 2.5 million on the side. That was money reimbursed from FEMA and some other funds we had. I forgot exactly what it was. You know, savings in the police here and there, payroll,
Sale of the building.
yeah, the sale of the building, the,
Right.
you know, so that money went to the police department. So that's part of that 2.5 million. So right now, we've only received $1 million, I think it is, reimbursed. So
The first
we
million.
had planned on using 2.5 million. We won't need the whole, I hope we don't need the whole 2.5 million to furnish it out. Because I think we came in maybe furnishing it out with, cameras and everything's gonna be about
We've already
400,000, something like that total between that and furniture. Chief, you right off the top. I mean, that's
I
been
thought the
approved.
furniture was purchased already, because we.
We
It
are,
has
we're
been.
waiting on, that's what I'm saying. So I think the initial price of the police department, just the department was
Yeah,
like
we've
4.5 million.
PO, but we don't have the furniture.
Correct.
We haven't paid for
No.
the furniture.
We haven't written
Right,
the
we
check.
hadn't paid for it yet, anything. So yes, whatever is reimbursed after, go into this fund, and then it'd be up to the, council to do what's needed with it.
So we've fronted a lot of money. We're waiting to get that back as a city.
Right.
It goes in that fund. Once this project's complete, whatever balance is in that fund, it's
Right.
back to y'all
The
discretion.
reserve fund.
You
Do we
can
have
stick in your, you can close that special fund and put it in your emergency fund, stick it, or
open another
your
account
projects,
for it.
'cause you've got a lot of matching.
No, we'll close this one out.
We just got a lot, I mean,
10 more new accounts.
Let's open another
Except
account.
for
on
This
Just
is
it.
one
on
we can
projects.
close out, take the money out and put it somewhere and then close it
Gary, does
out.
that make sense? I think what
So,
you're asking,
I
But
guess
do
what
you
I'm
have a
saying is
projected completion?
we got
anything
expected
that's left
reimbursements.
will be back to y'all.
Yeah, we got expected reimbursements of 2 million.
Correct.
We already we have about 21,000 in it right now, but you expected a reimbursement of $2,056,000 roughly, for a total of $2,077,000.
So do we have any projection on how much
Correct.
we still owe on the building to pay contractors and furniture and all
I
that?
think we paid.
No, we paid,
We're
basically-
closed on that.
It's basically the other purchases of the cameras,
Furniture.
the
So-
computers,
Cameras,
furniture,
furniture,
So
whatever
that's-
we've
else.
already pulled
yeah.
POs on.
Okay, so we should have.
How much is
But-
that total?
You probably, we're at
I don't remember.
300
Furniture
something
was
probably?
around 200 and
Plus?
something, cameras 150,
Okay.
Four.
So
close
we're
to
gonna have a
400,
big chunk of money left over.
close to 400,000.
Looks like million and a half, million.
So we're looking at,
No,
close to
no,
5,
Whoa.
I'm just-
So you're saying we're gonna have about a $500,000 left over, and Josh is saying $1 million?
I'm just
no,
saying.
I don't know what this number is. We got close to $5 million in this project,
Right,
okay?
and you said the
We
project
received
finished.
3. We set 2.5 to the side.
So that's $5 million in cash we've received.
No,
We set 2 aside, we received 3,
that's 5.5.
that's 5.
Have we received?
We have
three?
not received.
No,
three.
we have not
Received
received
one, and we're waiting on 2
We're waiting on two.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's gonna cost us $5 million for this police department, give or take. And we with the 3 grants we received, plus the money we set aside, we had roughly $5.5 million. I think it's $5,400,000.
I know, but we're waiting for
something
$2 million
Yeah,
in
but we
reimbursement.
say that 400 is our match, so 400 of that will be our match too.
So they're gonna take 400 out of this for the I thought we already paid that.
600 for the match. Well, I think, no, the last year they only did half the match. What'd they do on the third bond?
It was the first year that was all messed up, because we only got one grant,
I haven't seen this.
1 million out of a $5 million building. So that first year, the percentages were jacked.
Yeah.
And that's where all
So-
these numbers get complicated, because
But
they're
Gary, the-
applying, MDA's working with us to apply different things and apply match to make sure.
I
what we
Since
think
do
it's
we're
the
is
same
right.
But I
project,
guess what Gary,
think-
I think, is asking, what I'm wondering as well is, so we've already put this money out and we're getting reimbursed. So when this money gets
we're still putting it out.
reimbursed, it's gonna go back into our cash balances,
It'll go back into that
To this
fund's
fund.
cash balance.
and
And
then,
then once this building's done, whatever
we
cash
decide
balance
what
is in
we-
there is up to the council.
right.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, what I'm pointing out is, you're saying we're getting we're waiting on $2 million in reimbursements.
Right.
So the building's basically paid for, so we don't owe another 2 million to contractors right
No.
now.
No.
So we should have
So
a large
we'll
chunk.
get that 2
no,
million.
that whole 2
We have-
million that's being reimbursed may not come from this account. It might be from the regular, where's those accounts at? It might come from the reserve account. It
We're
might
gonna go-
come from the 005. I see there's a
It's gonna go back to the-
700,000.
So
can go
you're
back
saying
to
the
the accounts
state's
that
not
it was
gonna
taken out.
reimburse us on this money?
No, there's 700,000 owed to the reserve account.
It's gonna go
to
back to the account
005.
it came out of
But that could be lending us.
to cover it.
Yeah, and some of that reimbursements could go to that. And then some of it, again, you got $1 million out there reimbursed on the general fund. I'm not sure what that is actually actually the reimbursements are on that. And then, you got $1 million.
Well, how can we get all this information y'all have, because I don't have that?
Well, can Ms.
It's on your
So, I mean,
cash
he's just looking
balance.
at the cash balance.
Yeah, looking at that, but can Ms. Gonzalez maybe give us a breakdown of what we paid and out of what account so far on this, please?
For the
Yeah.
building? Yeah, we can run a general ledger on that.
Yeah, okay.
Show
I
you
think that would
every-
clear up a lot
Every
of,
invoice paid for the
I think
project.
that would answer a
But-
lot of questions that we going back and forth about this,
But
to see it run
at the
down.
end of the day, whatever that cash
yeah.
balance
It's
is,
still-
when all the grant money's received, the balance is the balance, and the
Exactly.
council has direction on that money.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I remember we got an extra $1 million last legislative session.
That made 3
Me and you
million.
went up
3
there.
million.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Thank you all so much for the refresher course.
We'll find out exactly what we have,
You got it now?
how much we think's gonna be ours,
Okay. Yeah.
But again,
So if it's not ours, who's the rest for?
that,
Furniture, we got POs, we gotta cover furniture expenses on.
Well, they said that was about 400,000.
Yeah.
that's gonna be that 5 million mark that this building costs.
Yeah, included.
But this 2 million, this is what we paid above, right now. Is she expecting all that to be reimbursed? Did she put that in there because that's what's paid, thinking that's gonna be reimbursed? I don't know.
They might take a match out of it, so it
Yeah.
might be 1.6 million reimbursed it, no, whatever not too, if we owe 400,000
We have,
match.
we're eligible for $2 million
Okay,
in grant money from
Yeah.
GCRF.
okay,
$1 million for each year,
all right,
plus our local match.
good deal,
We'll find that answer out, Gary.
all right.
Now, the emergency cash reserve.
Whatever's left, it's y'all's.
Emergency cash.
Now, what is that reserved for?
That was
Emergency.
casino money that,
We
when we
had
earned
set
a
that up,
certain
but
amount after casino
year and a half
revenue,
ago,
we put it to that account,
We
remember?
created an emergency fund for y'all.
And what will we do with that?
That's in
Emergency.
case there's an
Emergencies,
emergency.
Hurricane,
Just
something
emergency.
really comes up.
Not for
Now,
projects.
Are we still putting money in that account?
Yes, we're putting,
I think we had 900,000.
400,000
year.
from the casino we're expecting to put into it this year. Is that the only thing?
But FY '20, we put
But I think
900,000
we,
in it.
yeah.
Okay,
But that's supposed to be a true emergency account, not
That's
just.
supposed to be for emergencies.
okay,
Not just a reserve,
That's
a true
building back
emergency.
an emergency
Yes,
fund for y'all.
all right. Thank you, gentlemen.
all right.
And what is the CapEx fund? Because I see we got a check for 250,000 for that.
CapEx is a donation from legislature
So last year,
It's
the
a
state
direct
legislature
allocation, Mayor, come on now.
gave us 250,000 to be used.
That's unallocated at this
It's
point. that we
unallocated
need
at
to
this
figure out
point,
what we wanna
but
do.
we had to set up a separate checking account, which y'all gave authorization to do. The direct deposit came from the state for that fund, so it's sitting there. We have to have, again, separate bank account, we have to give quarterly reports.
Infrastructure, and it's
And it's
not just
basically
like
public
one bid.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
You can't say, hey, let me go buy some printers or.
I asked if we could build a
I think
pickleball
it's
court
public
with it, and they told me no.
infrastructure.
Well, what's all the restrictions on it then?
Infrastructure.
So it's, yeah, so.
So you're
Well,
talking
usually
roads,
Infrastructure.
Huh?
not
roads,
where-
drainage.
Not what they
I'm
said.
happy to
things like that.
discuss this.
I agree with you, but not what they said.
MDA does not-
Infrastructure.
They don't view parks as infrastructure.
Okay.
And so,
So road
Ms. Mayor,
streets and
it's not a reimbursement. You have the money,
Yeah.
but then you have to go submit all of your proof to MDA. And you're dealing with MDA one-on-one to figure out what they will and will not approve.
Okay.
All right, I see the cap, you say the cap X fund?
Yeah, it's number 125.
Yeah, I don't see anything in there.
No, it's, you gotta look on the report on Z. Grants and
Where?
rebates and reimbursements. We got a lot of reimbursements the last few days.
Well, I don't, you may not have you gotten your
We
capital
got the,
fund?
we got the two.
Yeah.
Got it.
It says we got on 9/25, you reached, you got, Tidelands funds for the fuel dock reimbursement, August 3rd. Restore Act money for Ramonita reimbursement, 98,000 for another part of the fuel dock on 8/30. So you got almost over 200,000 in Tidelands funds reimbursement for the fuel dock. Fire insurance rebate, you got almost 60,000. Last day is September 29th.
Thank you for that report. It's so much easier.
No, don't thank them. We voted on it.
No, I know, but.
Thank you anyway.
That's
though.
easy. Thank you. All right. Any further discussion on consent agenda? Vote to motion.
Aye.
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 Passes 7-0.
Oh, one other thing on the consent agenda. Chief, I see that you got a lot of vacancies that are approved. Are y'all moving forward?
Thank you, Chief. Okay, minutes approval, City Council second regular meeting, October 17th, 2023, and City Council special meeting, October 30th, 2023. Do you have a motion?
Motion?
Motion, no block. Somebody said something this way. Second, Mr. Hoffman.
Mike.
Any further discussion? Vote to motion.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes 6-1. Attorney's report, anything, Ms. Smith?
All my stuff's been covered.
Okey-doke. No need for closed session. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Yeah.
Motion, Mr. Hoffman. Still have a second? Mr. Seal, vote to motion.
Aye.
Aye, 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 aye.
7 o'clock.
Aye,
I
aye,
figured
said
we'd be sleeping
bye-bye.
here with all that planning and zoning.
It went pretty quick.
Yeah.
Too late to go vote.